Imagine standing in line at the airport. Your boarding pass is ready on your phone. You've worn your most comfortable walking shoes, and you've packed everything perfectly into that one trusty carry-on bag that has been your loyal travel companion for a decade. You've followed the rules for years. You know the 311 liquid drill by heart. You know exactly when to take off your belt.
But as you approach the front of the security line this morning in January 2026, something is different. There is a new set of digital scanners before you even reach the conveyor belt. And a TSA agent isn't just checking your ID, they're checking the digital footprint of your luggage. Suddenly, a red light flashes. You are told that your bag, the same one that has flown with you 30 times before, now incurs a $50 oversized processing fee because it exceeds the new 2026 standardized volume limits. This isn't a scenario from a dystopian novel. It is the reality of the TSA Modernization and Infrastructure Act that has officially gone into effect this month. If you are a traveler, especially a senior traveler who relies on specific packing habits or medical necessities, the landscape of the American airport has just fundamentally shifted. We've spent years complaining about airline baggage fees, but we always viewed the TSA as a government entity focused solely on safety. That line has officially blurred. As of January 2026, the TSA has implemented what many industry insiders are calling the hidden carry-on fee, though the government officially labels it the security output surcharge. To understand why this is happening and how to keep your money in your pocket, we have to look at the massive shift in airport technology and federal funding that led us to this moment. For the last 3 years, the Department of Transportation and the Department of Homeland Security have been quietly collaborating on a way to reduce checkpoint congestion. Their solution wasn't just more agents. It was a standardized regulation of every single item that enters the sterile areas of the airport. In the past, the size of your carry-on was a matter between you and your airline. If United said it fit, it fits. If Delta lets it slide, you were golden. But the TSA has realized that non-standardized bags are the primary cause of secondary screenings and belt jams. To combat this, they have installed high-speed automated bin systems in nearly every major hub in the United States. These systems use computer vision and AI to measure the three-dimensional volume of your bag in milliseconds. If your bag exceeds the new federal standards, which is slightly smaller than the old industry average, you are flagged. This isn't just about safety anymore. It is about the cost of processing. The TSA argues that larger, overstuffed bags require more X-ray power, more manual inspections, and more time, and they've decided that the travelers should foot the bill for that extra time. For seniors, this is a particularly sharp thorn in the side. Many older travelers prefer carry-ons to avoid the physical toll of waiting at baggage claims or the risk of lost luggage containing vital medications. However, the new 2026 regulations have a very specific density clause. If you are someone who packs heavy, perhaps you carry several hardback books, heavy medical equipment, or dense layers of clothing, the new scanners will flag your bag for a manual weight check. In 2026, the TSA has introduced a maximum weight for carry-ons that are allowed through the standard lane. If your bag exceeds 18 pounds, it is now classified as heavy cargo and subject to a surcharge. The logic is that heavy bags are more difficult for agents to lift during random searches, leading to more workplace injuries. But for the traveler, it feels like just another way to reach into your wallet before you've even reached your gate. You might be wondering how they can get away with this. It all goes back to the 2024 FAA Reauthorization Act, which contained a small, overlooked provisions allowing the TSA to recover operational costs associated with non-standardized passenger items. For decades, the September 11th security fee was a flat rate hidden in your ticket price. But the 2026 change allows for dynamic charging based on the physical profile of your luggage. If you haven't traveled yet this year, you need to be aware that the bin size has effectively shrunk by about 10%. The wheels and handles, which we used to tuck away or ignore, are now the primary targets of the laser measuring gates. If your wheels stick out too far, the gate won't open until you tap your credit card or phone to pay the fee. This is where I need to ask you to do something important. If you find this breakdown helpful and want to stay ahead of the curve, as travel rules continue to shift in this new era, make sure you are subscribed and have shared this with your travel group or family members. Information is the only way to avoid these surprise costs that the government doesn't exactly advertise on the evening news. We are seeing a massive shift in how the travel industry operates, and staying informed is your only defense against these mounting fees. Now, let's talk about the specific seniors trap that is baked into this 2026 rollout. One of the biggest issues involves personal items. We are all used to the idea of a carry-on and a personal item like a purse or a laptop bag. However, the new TSA scanners are now programmed to recognize over-categorized personal items. If your personal item, that small backpack or large tote, is stuffed to the point where it doesn't fit easily under a standard seat, the TSA is now authorized to charge a dual item surcharge. In the past, the gate agent at the airline was the one who would catch this. Now, the TSA catches it at the X-ray machine. For many seniors who carry a separate bag for their CPAP machines, oxygen concentrators, or specialized footwear, this is a nightmare. While the law states that medical devices are exempt from these fees, the burden of proof has shifted to the passengers. In 2026, if your medical device is not clearly labeled with a TSA-approved medical QR code, the automated system will flag it as a second carton. You then have to wait in a resolution lane to prove it is a medical device to a human supervisor. These lanes are notoriously slow, often taking 30 to 45 minutes. Many travelers, fearing they would miss their flight, simply pay the fee to move through. It is a brilliant, if frustrating, a way for the agency to generate revenue from people in a rush. To avoid this, you must contact your medical device manufacturer now to get the 2026 compliant digital tag for your equipment. Furthermore, the hidden fee also extends to the way you pack your electronics. We all remember the days when you had to take your laptop out of the bag. Then came PreachTech, where you could leave it in. But as of January 2026, the new DeepSkin CT machines require a specific density profile for the bag. If your bag is packed too tightly, what the TSA calls complex packing, it triggers an automatic secondary screen. Starting this year, every secondary screen triggered by avoidable packing errors carries a small service fee. It's only $5 or $10. But when you multiply that by millions of travelers, it's a massive windfall for the agency. The avoidable packing error category includes things like nesting electronics, stacking coins, or having large quantities of dense organic material like snacks or protein powder that the machine can't see through. For the senior traveler, this means the old way of packing is now a liability. You can no longer just squish everything in and hope for the best. You need to use packing cubes. And specifically, you need to use the new transparent density cubes that allow X-rays to pass through without distortion. If you are using old school, thick nylon bags inside your suitcase, you are practically begging for a secondary search and the accompanying fee. It feels like a lot to manage, but the goal of the TSA is to move towards a completely touchless experience. They want you to walk through a portal, have your bag scanned in 3 seconds, and keep moving. Anything that slows the 3-second process down is now being treated as a premium service that you have to pay for. Let's look at the January 2026 grace period, or rather, the lack thereof. Many people expected a soft rollout, but because the infrastructure was installed throughout 2025, the hard start date of January 1st was met with zero leniency. We are already seeing reports from airports like O'Hare, LAX, and Atlanta where hundreds of seniors are being caught in the resolution lanes. The most common culprit? The legacy luggage issue. If your suitcase was manufactured before 2023, it likely doesn't have the integrated RFID chips that communicate with the new TSA bin systems. These chips tell the scanner the empty weight of the bag, so it can instantly calculate the weight of the contents. Without that chip, the machine defaults to a manual weigh-in, which, you guessed it, triggers the surcharge. So, how do you fight back? First, you need to audit your luggage today. If you have a scale at home, weigh your empty carried-on. If it weighs more than 7 or 8 pounds empty, it is time to retire it. The 2026 weight limits are so strict that a heavy empty bag leaves you with almost no room for your actual belongings. Second, you need to look into TSA, a pre-validated luggage. This is a new marketing term you'll see this year. It means the bag has been pre-measured and certified by the manufacturer to meet the 2026 dimensions. While you don't have asterisk to buy new luggage, the peace of mind of knowing you won't be stopped at the gate is worth the investment for many. Another major change involves the liquids rule. While we were told for years that the 311 rule might go away with better scanners, the opposite has happened in 2026. The rule has been digitized. The new scanners can now detect the exact milliliter count of liquids in your bag. If you are over the limit by even a tiny amount, say, a large tube of expensive prescription cream that is half empty but in a 4-ounce container, the machine flags it. In the past, a kind agent might let that slide. Today, the machine doesn't have a heart. It sees a 4-ounce container, notes the violations, and automatically adds the hazardous materials processing fee to your traveler profile. This fee is linked to your real ID or passport and must be paid before you can board your next flight or renew your pre-check status. This leads to a broader point about the digital traveler profile. Every time you trigger one of these new 2026 fees, it is recorded. Travelers with high compliance scores will find themselves breezing through security, while those with low compliance scores, meaning people who frequently have oversized bags or forbidden items, will find themselves selected for enhanced screening more often. For seniors, maintaining a high compliance score is crucial because the enhanced screening process is physically demanding, involving long periods of standing and more intrusive searches. By following the new rules and paying attention to the carton dimensions, you aren't just saving $50, you are protecting your future travel experience. The implementation of these fees has also created a new priority screening tier. If you are willing to pay a monthly subscription, essentially TSA PreCheck Plus, some of these size and weight restrictions are waived. This has sparked a massive debate about pay-to-play securities. Is it fair that a wealthy traveler can bring a 30-pound carry-on, while a senior on a fixed income is fined for an 18-pound bag? The government argues it's about efficiency, but for the average person, it feels like the sky is being divided into those who can afford the old rules and those who have to live by the new, the more restrictive ones. One of the most surprising aspects of the January 2026 rollout is the electronic device surcharge. We've all started traveling with more gear, phones, tablets, e-readers, power banks, and smartwatches. The new TSA regulations state that any bag containing more than 5 independent lithium-ion powered devices requires a high energy density scan. This is because of the increased fire risk and the complexity of seeing through multiple batteries. If you are a senior who travels with a phone, an iPad, a Kindle, a backup battery for your phone, and a digital camera, you are at 5 devices. One more, like a rechargeable hearing aid case or a smart pill organizer, and you hit the SARE charge limit. The TSA is essentially taxing the modern digital lifestyle, and they are doing it under the guise of battery safety. The key to navigating this is device consolidation. If you can use one device for multiple tasks, do it. If you can use passive technology, like a standard watch instead of a smartwatch or a paper book instead of an e-reader, you can stay under the device cap and avoid the extra scanning fee. It sounds like we are moving backwards, but in the eyes of the TSA, a simple bag is a safe bag, and they are using financial incentives to force us all back to simpler packing habits. Let's talk about the gate check trap. This is perhaps the most frustrating part of the 2026 changes. If you get to the security checkpoint and your bag is flagged as narrowed, you aren't just charged a fee. You are often forced to mandatory gate check the bag right there at the security line. This means your bag is taken by a handler and sent to the belly of the plane. For a senior who has all their medications, a change of clothes, and their valuables in that bag, this is a disaster. You are separated from your essentials, and you are still charged the non-compliance fee. The TSA claims this is to prevent bin blocking on the aircraft, ensuring that everyone's bags fit in the overhead compartments. But it removes the traveler's control over their own belongings. To prevent this, you must pre-measure in a way that is TSA verifiable. Many airports are now installing pre-scan kiosks near the check-in counters. These are free to use and will give you a green light digital receipt on your phone. If you have that green light from the morning of your flight, the TSA scanners at the checkpoint are supposed to honor it. If you bypass the kiosk and go straight to security, you are essentially gambling. For seniors, my best advice for 2026 is to arrive 20 minutes earlier than usual and find that pre-scan kiosk. It is your get-out-of-jail-free card. We also have to consider the international implications. If you are flying into the U.S. or from abroad, these rules apply the moment you hit your first domestic connection. Many international standard carry-ons are larger than the new 2026 U.S. and federal standards. This is causing chaos at recheck stations in international arrivals. Travelers who thought they were compliant in London or Tokyo are finding themselves hit with fees the moment they try to clear TSA in New York or Atlanta for their final leg home. If you are planning an international trip this year, you must pack for the smallest common denominator. Do not assume that because your bag was fine on the way out, it will be fine on the way back. As we look towards the rest of 2026, it is clear that the golden age of the free, unregulated carry-on is over. The TSA has realized that the space inside an airport is the most valuable real estate in the world, and they are finally charging rent. For the senior community, the hidden carry-on fee is more than just a nuisance. It's a tax on mobility and independence. But by understanding the technology, the 3D scanners, the weight sensors, the RFID tagging, and the digital compliance scores, you can stay one step ahead. You don't have to be a victim of the Modernization Act. You can be the traveler who breezes through the green lane, while everyone else is stuck in the resolution lane reaching for their wallets. The most important thing to remember is that these fees are automated. There is no use arguing with the machine. In 2026, the TSA agent is often just a monitor for the AI. If the screen says the bag is too big, the agent's hands are tied. Your goal is to never let that screen turn red. Packing light, packing smart, and use the new digital tools available to you. The 2026 travel landscape is high-tech and high-cost, but with the right preparation, you can still enjoy the journey without the hidden fee baggage. I want to hear from you because this is a rapidly evolving situation. Have you already encountered one of these new volume scanners at your local airport this month? Did you see the resolution lanes in action? Or perhaps you found a specific brand of luggage that is already 2026 compliant? Share your stories in the comments because your experience could save a fellow traveler from a very expensive and stressful morning at the airport. Let's help each other navigate this new era of travel.